So that headline, it was absolutely everywhere back in October 2025, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah. Sydney Sweeney makes bombshell bid to become the first female James Bond. You couldn't miss it.
Every entertainment site, every blog, they framed it as this incredibly audacious demand, like challenging 60 years of Bond history.
A real casting revolution, supposedly.
Exactly. But here's the thing our sources are pointing to, the real insight. This was, well, it was never really about the casting itself.
Right. It sounds more like a performance.
A perfectly calculated 17-second performance, almost theatrical. And it was designed, it seems, to expose this really deep power struggle happening behind the scenes on the new 007 movie. Welcome to Starscope Report.
Join us as we break down all the Hollywood drama, the music industry shakeups, and, yeah, even the influencer scandals.
From those red carpet moments that make you gasp to the TikTok trends you just can't escape, we get into the stories behind the headlines. And for this deep dive, we are really pulling back the curtain. We're looking at how a simple rumor, especially one tangled up with the founder of Amazon, Jeff Bezos,
Right.
how that can be spun, almost manufactured into this unavoidable global news story.
Yeah, and we're looking beyond just the glamour, you know? We're asking how this, 60-year-old British icon, James Bond, how it's coping with its new life under this massive U.S. tech giant.
It's a whole new world for Bond.
It really is.
Yeah.
The franchise, it's kind of become a battleground now. You've got the film's established creative team, the director specifically, pitted against the ultimate corporate owner, Amazon. So what you're about to hear is how Hollywood's biggest decisions might now be driven less by scripts and more by, well, corporate synergy.
Okay, let's set the scene. Let's unpack the moment that really kicked this whole thing off.
Yeah, let's do it.
So it's late October 2025. Sydney Sweeney, she's 28 at the time, right in the middle of this big press tour. She's promoting her boxing movie, Christie.
High-profile stuff.
Totally. And a journalist, probably pretty predictably, asks her about these rumors that just won't die down. The ones saying she's being eyed for a Bond girl role in Bond 26.
Okay. And she must have known that question was coming, right? An actress at that level on that kind of tour, they're prepped.
Oh, absolutely. Multiple sources described her response as, cagey. Very, very calculated. She basically weaponized ambiguity straight away.
How so?
Well, she's asked directly about the rumor, and her exact words were, I can't, I don't know.
I can't. That's interesting wording.
It is, but here's the part most quick headlines totally missed. After saying that, she apparently just stopped talking for 17 seconds.
17 seconds of silence on camera.
17 seconds. Think about how long that feels in an interview.
Wow. Okay, that's definitely deliberate.
That pause, combined with the words, I can't, that was the strategy. See, if she'd just denied it flat out, the rumor would have died right there.
Right, to river.
But instead saying, I can't, especially with that pause, it heavily implies she's bound by, a non-disclosure agreement, an NDA.
Ah, okay. So she can't talk about it, which makes the rumor seem real.
Exactly. It instantly transforms it from just, internet chatter into something credible, something worth putting on the front page.
Clever. Very clever.
And then came the pivot, the quote that really blew up. The journalist, understandably, pushes a bit more, specifically on the Bond girl idea.
Which is, let's be honest, often seen as a secondary role.
Right. And that's when she delivers the soundbite that launched 1,000 think pieces. Depends on the script. I think I'd have more fun as James Bond.
Boom. There it is.
That's the one.
Okay, that's a brilliant PR move. But you're saying it was basically rhetorical.
Pretty much. Think about it. She was asked about playing the traditional supporting character, often quite sexualized.
The Bond girl trope.
Yeah. And her response was this very public rejection of that kind of role, of that limitation, by bringing up the whole female 007 debate, which was already out there in the culture.
She taps into that conversation.
And elevates her own brand instantly. She's no longer just answering about a supporting part. She's positioning herself as someone who could lead the franchise, rejecting the secondary role, claiming the power position.
Okay, I see it. So PR objective achieved. Big time.
Massively. But like you said, that 17-second performance, it didn't just happen out of nowhere. To really get the full picture, we need to rewind a few months.
Back to the origin story of the rumor itself.
Exactly, because that's where the corporate power behind it becomes really clear.
Okay, so where did it actually start?
This leads us to what some insiders are calling the Bezos nexus.
The Bezos nexus. Okay, intriguing.
This whole casting idea first really caught fire back in June 2025. It was right after Sydney Sweeney was seen, very publicly, attending the wedding of Amazon founder Jeff Bezos and Lauren Sanchez.
Ah, the wedding. Right. High-profile event.
Extremely. And that appearance, well, it was immediately read by a lot of people in Hollywood as a classic, almost old Hollywood kind of move. Paying respects to the big boss, the ultimate corporate power.
Makes sense. Especially now that Amazon owns the studio.
Precisely. That's the crucial link. Amazon MGM Studios is the new, very powerful home for the entire Bond franchise. And reports at the time explicitly claimed that Jeff Bezos himself was, quote, reportedly eager for Sweeney to get a role in Bond 26.
Eager. Okay, so it's not just being at the wedding. There's more to it.
Oh, yeah. It's not just social proximity. It's like this whole corporate matrix built for synergy.
Synergy, the magic word.
Right. So Sweeney is apparently already, quote, tangentially in business with Bezos and Sanchez on some new lingerie line.
Interesting.
Plus, she was already attached to star in another movie, Split Fiction, which was also in development at Amazon MGM Studios.
Okay, so she's already in the Amazon ecosystem, so to speak. Multiple touch points.
Exactly. This close, multi-layered relationship with the company's founder, it created this powerful pre-existing narrative. It made the casting rumor feel almost logical, inevitable even.
So hang on. Are we saying that launching a lingerie line with the boss's fiancé actually helps your chances of becoming James Bond now?
Yeah.
Isn't that kind of stretching the idea of corporate synergy a bit thin?
Well, yeah, historically that would sound completely absurd.
Totally absurd.
But this is the paradigm shift we're talking about. For 60 years, Bond casting was famously controlled by the Broccoli family, Eon Productions. It was incredibly insular, very protected.
They kept it close.
Now, it appears that the metrics for who's even considered, who's viable for a role, are being publicly tied to your social connections and your business deals with the parent company's founder.
So an actor's resume for Bond might now include other Amazon projects, the relationship with Bezos.
It seems that way. The corporate want, the desire from the top of Amazon seems to be challenging, maybe even trying to precede the traditional creative casting process led by the director and producers.
Yeah. Okay, that's a huge shift.
It is. So the story we saw play out looked pretty smooth on the surface. Bezos is keen, Sweeney plays coy, the global media eats it up. Simple, right?
Yeah, seems straightforward.
But there's a major piece of evidence, a sourced contradiction, that throws a wrench in that neat timeline. And it really proves this internal conflict is real.
Okay, what is it?
You have to go back to July. Right after that initial wedding speculation started bubbling up in June and July, TMZ, of all places, published an exclusive. They cited an insider with direct knowledge, their words, who stated very clearly that Sweeney was not currently in talks and that all the speculation was just wishful thinking.
A direct denial from an insider in July.
Yep. Sourced direct denial, explicitly saying not happening.
Okay, but fast forward 3 months to October.
And that factual denial just vanished. It got completely steamrolled, overwritten, basically erased by that single 17-second performance we talked about.
So the media just ran with the dramatic, coy celebrity quote instead of the source denial.
Seems like it. The performance was the better story, right? More clickable.
Yeah, I guess so. But this contradiction is critical, isn't it?
It's absolutely critical because it's highly likely that both reports were actually true. And that's what exposes the fracture inside the studio.
How do you mean?
Well, think about the timing. That July denial, not in talks, wishful thinking that probably came from the creative side of the production, maybe Denis Villeneuve's camp, the director.
Okay, so the filmmaker's saying, look, she's not actually on our list. This isn't coming from us.
Exactly. A clear statement of their creative position at that time. But then the October hype, which seemed to have this energy coming from the Bezos-adjacent side.
Right, the wedding connection, the eagerness.
That looks much more like a corporate strategy, like floating a trial balloon, you know?
Testing the waters. Gauging public reaction.
Yeah. See how the idea plays. And maybe, just maybe, put a bit of pressure on the creative team by making Sweeney for Bond this massive news cycle story that they can't ignore.
So kind of a soft launch for a corporate preference, one that the traditional creative folks might not have chosen on their own.
That's the theory, a corporate push versus the creative vision.
And this whole internal battle, this push and pull, it's really only possible because of that huge fundamental change in the franchise's structure that happened earlier in 2025, right?
That's the absolute key piece of context here. In February 2025, Eon Productions, that's Barbara Broccoli and Michael G. Wilson, they formally handed over full creative control of the James Bond IP to Amazon MGM Studios.
Wow. Full control after 60 years.
End of an era. 60 years where they fiercely protected what everyone calls this sacred British intellectual property. That protection is now officially gone. Amazon's in charge.
Okay, but Amazon knew that taking over Bond would make fans nervous, right?
Yeah.
So they brought in some heavy hitters on the creative side.
They did. To give it instant legitimacy, try to calm the fan base, they assembled this really high prestige team. You've got Denis Villeneuve directing. He's a massive, self-professed, die-hard Bond fan.
Also, Sacred Territory himself, I remember reading that.
He does. And then you have powerhouse producers Amy Pascal and David Heyman alongside him.
So Villeneuve was kind of meant to be the auteur shield, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Prove that Amazon respected the legacy, that they weren't just going to turn Bond into, I don't know, an algorithm.
That was clearly the intention,
Yeah.
but what it actually created was this inherently unstable structure. You've got the auteur director publicly committed to honoring tradition versus the corporate owner, Amazon, who, let's face it, is probably prioritizing synergy, global appeal, maybe even data-driven casting choices based on, streaming metrics, commercial demands.
A clash waiting to happen.
Exactly. And this whole Sydney Sweeney speculation, this media storm, it's really just the first public eruption of that underlying conflict, the first sign of the struggle to come over who really gets to shape the future of Bond.
And we should probably be crystal clear on one point. Despite all the female Bond headlines Sweeney generated,
Yes, absolutely.
all the internal reports, the sourced information, confirms the studio is not actually considering a gender-swapped James Bond.
Yeah.
That possibility is, quote, completely descartada, totally ruled out.
Right. They are looking for a male actor, period.
So Sweeney's whole bid, as the headlines called it, was in reality completely safe from her perspective. It was pure rhetoric.
She got to look bold, enhance her brand, generate massive publicity.
Without ever actually challenging the studio's real plan or risking alienating anyone by pushing for something that was never truly on the table. Smart again.
Very smart PR.
Okay, so if they're definitely looking for a male actor who is actually in the running, or at least what are the official criteria? How does that clash with all this corporate pressure we're talking about?
Well, the official creative criteria, supposedly coming from Villeneuve's vision, are starkly different from all the hype we saw. They're reportedly searching for a fresh face, maybe even a relatively unknown actor.
Interesting. Not a big established star then.
Apparently not, and critically, British, male, probably late 20s, early 30s.
British male, late 20s, early 30s, relatively unknown.
That's the profile, according to those sources. And the actual casting search isn't even expected to begin properly until sometime in 2026.
So that automatically rules out, well, pretty much every big name that's been floated, including Sweeney, obviously.
Right. But then here comes the next layer of corporate conflict.
Mm-hmm.
It seems even Amazon's executives aren't all on the same page.
Oh, more internal disagreement.
Yeah, there's another rumor, another corporate push that also violates that sacred tradition Villeneuve wants to uphold.
Okay, what's this one?
Reports suggest that some Amazon executives are quietly pushing for Jacob Elordi.
Jacob Elordi. From Euphoria, Saltburn. He's huge right now.
Exactly. Massive star. Fits the age bracket, maybe?
Big U.
Bingo. Violates the long-standing, almost non-negotiable British requirement for James Bond.
Wow. Okay, so this is getting messy. You've got multiple factions pulling in different directions.
That's totally messy. It basically leaves us with three distinct, almost warring narratives fighting over the future of Bond 26 before casting has even really started.
Okay, let's break them down. Faction 1.
That's the Sydney Sweeney media hype narrative. Seems driven by the Bezos connection, maybe Sweeney's own PR, pushing for a high-profile American star, leveraging synergy.
Got it. Faction 2.
That's the official creative strategy, driven by the director, Villeneuve, demanding an unknown or at least lesser-known British male actor, honoring tradition.
Okay, and Faction 3.
That's the other corporate push rumor, this one apparently coming from different Amazon executives, promoting the famous, bankable but pointedly non-British Jacob Elordi.
So Villeneuve wants an unknown Brit. Bezos reportedly wants a famous American friend. And other Amazon execs want a famous Australian star.
It sounds less like casting 007 and more like corporate departments fighting over who gets to pick the new company mascot.
Yeah, that's quite a conflict brewing there.
The bombshell bid was definitely a huge win for Sydney Sweeney's profile. And it worked perfectly as a trial balloon for Amazon to test public opinion and maybe apply some internal pressure.
Mm-hmm. But the real story here, the one to watch, it's the future of the franchise itself, isn't it?
Absolutely.
It feels like the next chapter of Bond will be defined by who wins this internal struggle, Will it be the artistic vision, the director trying to protect the sacred legacy? Or will it be the data-driven, synergistic commercial demands of the giant tech corporation that now owns the keys to the kingdom? That's the real cliffhanger.
And that's where we are going to wrap up this deep dive into, well, the corporate theater of modern Hollywood. The question you really should be asking yourself as this whole Bond saga continues to unfold is pretty simple, isn't it? Will the next James Bond be chosen based on their audition tape or based on their affiliation with Amazon Prime Day?
You've been listening to Starscope Report, where we uncover the stories shaping Hollywood, music, and pop culture.
Thanks so much for tuning in, and we'll catch you next time.